Hare Krishna. Today we are going to study the verse number 19 of chapter number 6 of Bhagwat Gita as it is. The name of this chapter is Dhyan Yoga or meditation. Meditation is the activity of mind, and from the very beginning of this chapter we have come to know that who is a yogi and who is a sannyasi. Then we came to know that a yogi and sannyasi are non-different from each other. And after knowing the essential qualities of a yogi and sannyasi and how they control their mind, then we came to know that the mind is both enemy and friend, and how to befriend the uncontrolled mind. Though the mind is tough to control, but it has to be controlled because without mind we cannot do anything. And for this purpose, the process of Ashtanga Yoga is prescribed in Dhyan Yoga. And one who follows the various steps of Ashtanga Yoga gradually becomes disinterested in the material things and takes more interest in the spiritual activities. And finally, when this stage comes that by the yoga practice, the yogi disciplines his mind and becomes situated in the transcendental activities and is totally devoid of all material activities, then the yogi is to be said to have attained the highest perfection of yoga. In today's verse, that is the verse number 19, we will come to know about a yogi who has attained perfection in yoga and is compared with the flame of a lamp in a windless place. Now let us read the verse number 19. Yatha deepo nivatastho nengate sopama smrita yogino yat chittasya yunjato yogam atmanah. Yatha deepo nivatastho nengate sopama smrita yogino yat chittasya yunjato yogam atmanah. Yatha deepo nivatastho nengate sopama smrita yogino yat chittasya yunjato yogam atmanah. Krishna says that as a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist, whose mind is controlled, remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendental self. Yatha deepo nivatastho nengate sopama smrita yogino yat chittasya yunjato yogam atmanah. Now let us read the Anvay given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur ki jai. Yatha as deepaha, a lamp, nivatasthaha, situated in a windless place, na ingate, does not flicker, sa, that, upama, analogy, smrita, considered, yogina, of a yogi, yat chittasya, whose mind is controlled, yunjataha yogam, while practicing communion, atmanah, in connection with the self. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that a lamp in a windless place does not flicker. The yogi who restrains his mind through communion with the self should be always aware of this metaphor. The metaphor used here is with the flame of a lamp. Just the way the flame of a lamp in a windless place is stable, similarly, the yogi who restrains his mind through communion with the self, he is always restrained and he is completely stable. He does not get affected by anything that is happening outside. In the same way, like a flame of the lamp does not flicker in a windless place. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that a lamp does not flicker in a place where there is no breeze. The mind of an accomplished yogi is likened to such a lamp. He means to say that a lamp does not flicker where there is no breeze, that is, in a windless place, because his mind is completely absorbed in the Supreme Self. That is why nothing affects a yogi whose mind is completely absorbed. Nothing stops him from doing the transcendental, loving service towards the Lord. And that is why he does not get affected by the material ups and downs and continues to serve the Supreme Lord. And he is compared to a lamp which is completely stable and is in a windless place. Srila Prabhupada says that a truly Krishna conscious person who is always absorbed in transcendence and is in constant undisturbed meditation on his worshipable Lord is as steady as a lamp in a windless place. This comparison is done between a yogi and a lamp in a windless place. And Srila Prabhupada says that a truly Krishna conscious person who is always absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna, who is always absorbed in serving Krishna, he is constantly in undisturbed meditation because he is constantly in communion with the worshipable Lord. And such a person is compared and is as steady as a lamp in a windless place. Now let us try to understand that how does a Krishna conscious person remains constantly undisturbed in his Krishna conscious activities. In chapter number 2, verse number 41, Krishna has given us the suggestion as to how can a person become firm in Krishna consciousness. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekah kurunandana bahushakha hi anantascha buddhayo avyavasayinam. In this verse, Krishna is clearly telling us that a person who is completely fixed in Krishna consciousness, how is his attitude and how is his stability of mind, and on contrary to it, the person who is not fixed in Krishna consciousness, how his mind is flickering and is disturbed always. So here in this verse, it is said that the people, those who are on the path of Krishna consciousness, they are very much resolute and fixed in the purpose of serving Krishna. And their aim is one. They only want to make Krishna happy. And the people whose intelligence is not resolute, or we can say that is going into many directions as many branches of a tree, such a person's mind is never stable. Vyavasayatmika hi buddhi ekah kurunandana bahushakha hi anantascha buddhayo avyavasayinam. Here Srila Prabhupada explains that a person who has strong faith in Krishna consciousness and he believes that this is the highest perfection of life by doing the loving service of Krishna. Such a person is known as Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, or we can say Vyavasayatmika intelligence, who firmly knows that by serving Krishna, he is doing everything. And Krishna consciousness means that he fully knows that what is his relationship with Krishna, and he knows that when he serves Krishna, he is doing all his duties. He has firm faith in this. Shraddha Shabde विश्वास कहे सुदृढ़ निश्चय Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krit Hoy. Faith means unflinching trust, complete trust, unflinching trust. And when one is engaged in the duties of Krishna consciousness, he need not act in relationship to the material world with obligation to anything, whether it is family, whether it is tradition, whether it is nationality or anything. So when a person knows that by serving Krishna, he is doing all his duties, such a person is truly a Krishna conscious person. And this person is truly Vyavasayatmika Buddhi, because he knows that by serving Krishna, he is doing all his duties. Such a person is truly like a flame of the lamp who is undisturbed, and the flame of the lamp which is in the windless place. Now we know that it's only a Krishna conscious person who knows perfectly well that by lovingly serving Krishna, he does everything and he does not need to do anything else in this material world. But still, he continues to do all his prescribed duties towards everyone in his family and society. And in addition to it, he never gets disturbed by the onslaughts of this material nature. This material nature is such that anything can happen to anyone at any time. But a Krishna conscious person is steadfast in Krishna conscious activities. Nothing can dissuade him from serving Krishna at all circumstances. To understand this in simple words, we have the example of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was born in a demon family, and his father was Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu tried killing Prahlad Maharaj by many ways. He threw him from the mountain, threw him in front of the mad elephants, locked him in a room filled with poisonous snakes, tried to burn him alive by making him sit on the lap of his auntie Holika. All these things did not make Prahlad fearful, rather, he became more resolute in Krishna Bhakti. Then we have the example of our Nam Acharya Haridas Thakur, who was attacked and beaten badly by the Muslim ruler of Bengal. His only fault was this, that he was chanting the holy name of Krishna. These tortures and atrocities did not affect his determination to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Then we have the example of Mirabai, who was forced to drink poison. She drank poison but did not leave Krishna Bhakti. She left her palace and was wandering on the roads but did not leave Krishna Bhakti. This is the power of Krishna Bhakti, which is compared with a lamp with steady flame in a windless place. In the second chapter, in verse number 70, Krishna has given us a wonderful analogy of ocean and sea, in which there is constant inflow of rivers, but it never gets disturbed or agitated. It is always peaceful and still inside, and never crosses its boundary. Apunimaram achala pratishtham samudra mapa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamam yam pravishanti sarve sashantim apnoti nakam kami. It means that a person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of the desires that enters like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. Now I am very sure that we have properly understood the meaning of today's verse, and by following the footsteps of Krishna conscious activities, we will be surely able to reach to a stage when we will be able to render our services to Krishna without being agitated and disturbed by the material disturbances. And when one reaches to this level, then he is known to have attained the perfection in yoga. And such a person is compared by Krishna with the lamp which is steady in a windless place. Srila Prabhupada is teaching us how to reach to this position of perfect yoga. Srila Prabhupada is Jagat Guru. He is Bhakti Vedant, which means he has read all the Vedas and he is the 32nd Guru in the Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya. He is the bona fide Guru who comes in the Guru Shishya Parampara, and he is the founder Acharya of ISKCON. Srila Prabhupada says that in Kali Yuga there is no other way to meditate on Krishna other than the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Prabhupada says that there are 9 steps in Bhakti Yoga, and out of which Shravan, Kirtan and Smaran are the topmost. Shravan means to listen, Kirtan means to glorify, and Smaran means to memorize or to always think. Srila Prabhupada says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself in the mood of Srimati Radharani, has recommended everyone to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Harir Nam, Harir Nam, Harir Nam Eva Kevalam. Gatir Anyatha. It means that there is no other way, no other way, no other way in Kali Yuga to meditate on Krishna. Srila Prabhupada says that it is stated in Bhagwatam that in Kali Yuga there is no other way to control the senses and the mind. And the only way is by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And when we chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra loudly, then all our senses are engaged in the loving service of the Supreme Lord. This way a divine connection is established with Krishna. Krishna, his name, his pastimes, and his heavenly abode are non-different from each other. And once we say Hare Krishna, Krishna is present on the tongue, and he repeatedly, and by repeatedly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, gradually all the worldly attractions fade away and one becomes firmly fixed on the devotional activities. This is what Prabhupada says, that only a Krishna conscious person is like a flame of a lamp in a windless place. This stage can be attained by Dhyan Yoga also, but the path is very difficult. We've seen it in the previous verses, all the rules and regulations, which is compulsory for a Dhyan Yogi. He must leave his home and go alone to a secluded, sacred place and make a kusha asan and cover it with a deer skin, and then sit absolutely straight with head, neck and back in a straight line, and focus on the tip of the nose and meditate on the Vishnu form Paramatma in heart. A Dhyan Yogi has to be a sannyasi, a brahmachari and completely fearless. Otherwise, he is not eligible to practice Dhyan Yoga. Prabhupada says that after following such strict austerities, if Rishi Vishwamitraji got distracted by the anklet bell of the sound of Menaka, then what to talk about the Kali Yuga people who are completely distracted and they only wish to enjoy more and more sense objects and worldly things. So it is recommended in our scriptures for the people of Kali Yuga to chant the holy name of Krishna. Now I am sure that we have properly understood that a person who has attained the perfection in yoga is compared to the flame of a lamp in a windless place. Now in the next verses, we will get to know about the symptoms of such a person who is firmly fixed in the transcendental loving service of the Supreme Lord. I thank Srila Prabhupada Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, and my Shiksha Guru, His Grace Harimohan Das Prabhuji, for explaining to us the most secretive knowledge of Bhagavad Gita in such simple manner and by giving us examples. I thank you for taking out your most valuable time and by listening to Srila Prabhupada and by listening to the words of Krishna. Definitely you are doing the best that a human being can do. Now we shall meet the next week with the other verses. Until then, keep chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and be happy. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnavon ki jai. Hare Krishna.